Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the top 3 reasons why I brand my products on Amazon and why it's really important that if you're trying to actually make money selling private label products on Amazon, that it is 100% imperative, okay? It's by choice, but if you're gonna do it my way, it is by force, okay? If you do not brand your products, you're gonna be missing out on so much opportunity to set yourself up for success with your Amazon FBA business. And I'll tell you why with these 3 steps in this video. Go ahead and give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So before we get into the top 3 reasons why you should always brand your products on Amazon FBA, let's discuss what branding even is. So branding is the process of coming up with a unique identity for your business itself. So you are finding ways that you're going to connect with your target audience or your target customer or consumer and give them a certain feeling about your brand. That feeling that you're trying to evoke from your customers will depend on what you're trying to sell, right? So if you are a brand like Nike, you're going to be trying to sell athletic wear and you want your customers to feel empowered. You want them to feel efficient. You want them to get their bodies moving. So that's going to be a very different brand strategy than if you are a brand like Disney, where you're all about making people feel warm and fuzzy and, family friendly. That's going to be something different. So as I'm bringing up these examples and mentioning different brands, think about what feelings that brings up for you, and you'll have a better understanding of what you might want to do with your Amazon brand and what is, the identity you want to leave or the identity that you want to create and the mark you want to leave on your customers. So the first reason that you always want to brand your products on Amazon and really anywhere that you are selling your product, whether it be Amazon or Shopify or any other platform, is that you want to distinguish your brand from all other brands that are selling similar or the same item that you are. So if everyone who sold sunglasses all had the same branding, if they all try to create the same type of feeling, then no one would stand out and no one would be making money because everyone would look the same. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to differentiate yourself. And this is the reason why sometimes you see niches that have so many different brands that are competing for the same customers. A lot of times what these different brands will try to do is customize their product or differentiate their product in some way so that they're able to stand out from the crowd in the eyes of the customer. So for example, if you are thinking about cereal brands, and this is something that I'm just using because I think we've all been in a grocery store, gone down the cereal aisle, and just been absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of options that we have. And if you look at even the packaging of the boxes, you can tell that certain cereal brands are really gearing their marketing towards little kids, right? If you're looking at a box of Lucky Charms, it's going to have bright colors, cartoons, big, bold fonts. It's going to be very in your face. And they do that on purpose because it's meant to appeal to children. However, if you're looking at a box of Raisin Bran or Corn Flakes, it's not going to look quite as extravagant or as loud. And that has everything to do with who they are trying to appeal to. Now, one really important thing that I want to touch on, and I'm going to make a dedicated video about this because it's very important, is that difference between the consumer and the customer. So the consumer of a product is the person that is actually going to be using the product that is being sold. So for example, if it is a bath toy for a toddler, the person who is using the bath toy, so the consumer, is the toddler. However, the customer is the parent of the toddler or the caregiver of the toddler or someone close to the toddler who is purchasing it. So the customer is who is buying it, the consumer is who is using it. And the reason that I'm making this distinction is because sometimes when brands are not clear on who they are actually marketing to, they can sometimes make their marketing unclear. So for example, let's use the cereal example again. Let's say that there is a commercial for Lucky Charms, and instead of making it fun and loud and exciting and a cartoon leprechaun, they instead list out all of the ingredients because they want to appeal to the parents. What if they say that there's tons of zinc and a lot of potassium? yes, they're gonna technically appeal to the parents, but the parents are worried about their kids actually eating the cereal. So in order to get the kids to want to eat the cereal, they're gonna make the marketing fun and exciting so the kids ask their parents to buy the Lucky Charms. Am I making sense? So it's really important that you are clear on who's using it versus who is buying it. A lot of times the customer and the consumer will be the same person, but there are going to be times where you're going to have to really separate that out and be clear on who you are going to make your marketing materials for. So in the case of Amazon FBA, what is your packaging going to look like? What are your product inserts going to look like? What colors are you going to use? If you are, again, marketing towards babies or parents of babies, you're going to want to use pastels, right? We're using baby pink and blues and, really nice, soft, subtle colors. Versus if you're selling a piece of athletic wear or if you're selling fitness equipment, you're probably not going to make it baby pink or baby blue, right? You're going to make it neon green or bright orange or something that's in your face. So that is where that's going to come into play as it relates to your Amazon FBA business. Along with this first point, I just want to talk about brand recognition. One thing that you can look forward to as you build your brand up and as you work on your messaging is remembering that brand recognition can go a very, very long way. We've got some very popular brands that everyone knows, no matter where you go. Think about McDonald's, for example. Whether you are in the United States or you're in India or you're in Mexico or you're in France, as soon as you see those golden arches, you know that it's McDonald's. You can see it from half a mile away. You know what to expect when you go there. You know what products they sell. You know that your favorite order can be purchased there. So it builds up that trust with your customer that they know what they're going to get when they see a certain logo or they see a certain brand name, or even if they hear a certain sound, they can associate that with your brand. And that's how you start to build up your brand recognition. Now, the second point that is extremely pertinent to branding your Amazon products is thinking about customer loyalty. So let me give you an example to illustrate this. If we are thinking about the most loyal customers to a brand, what do you guys think of? And I'm going to give you a second to write it in the comments, and I will tell you what immediately comes to mind for me is Apple, right? People who are Apple supporters, people who use Apple, they tend to have all Apple everything. If you have an iPhone, you probably have a MacBook. If you have a MacBook, you probably have an iPad. If you have an iPad, you probably have an Apple Watch, right? So they create an entire ecosystem around their brand, and you almost feel like you're betraying the brand if you venture out or if you use something different. So I got my first iPhone, for example, back when I was in college, and before that, I was always an Android user. But I'm not gonna lie, I always felt like I was on the outside looking in, and I thought that, Apple and iPhone was for people who had more money. And there is a certain element of, I would say, elitism when it comes to certain brands. And I do think that Apple definitely plays into that, and they market it to make it seem like it's the top of the tier, creme de la creme that you can get in tech, when in reality, and don't be mad at me, this is just the truth, a lot of the features that come out on Apple or with iPhones, the software, Google and Androids have already had that. So it's not like it's always revolutionary, but they have created such an intense and strong brand that the brand loyalty is really unmatched. There are people who will buy every Apple product that exists simply because it's Apple, right? And then you start to think about the things that you associate with the brand of Apple. You think about the iPhones, you think about the tech, you think about Steve Jobs even. I know that's a little bit random, but everyone knows that he is the strongest figure behind Apple. And so that gives it more weight. It gives it more validity. It gives it more, a little bit of something. I think you all know exactly what I'm saying. Just a little bit of something when you think about the brand Apple. And so circling back to the point of customer loyalty, when you do a good job branding your products, what you're doing is giving your customers a safe space, right? If they're able to buy multiple products from you and you have one brand with different things that will improve their lives or help them with whatever issue they have, they're going to come back again and again. But when we talk about customer loyalty, a very big component of that is not just the branding, but also the quality of the products or the perceived quality of the products. And Everything comes down to perception. Perception is reality at the end of the day. So if the perception is that Apple is the best you can get, then guess what? Regular people like me use Apple, celebrities use Apple, politicians use Apple products, and they have kind of superseded only being made for one specific type of person. They have really reached the masses. And I think that it's generational. I think, there's a lot that I could say about this brand in particular, but it's very, very important that you kind of tap into that and play into the fact that you are building an entire brand on Amazon. It's not just about selling one single product. And if you continue watching and stay till the end, I'll tell you why selling multiple products within the same niche under one brand can really, really pay off for you in a big way if you stick with it. The third reason why you always want to brand your products is that you want to be able to tap into organic marketing, otherwise known as word of mouth marketing. You want people to be able to bring up your brand name in conversation and tell their friends about it, tell their family about it, share with their followers or their audience or whoever about your brand and the products that you sell. And they're never going to be able to do that if you don't have a brand name. If you're selling a generic product on Amazon, for example, we all know about this light right here, right? TikTok famous. You clip it onto your phone and you're able to, have nice light on you, and it's portable and whatever. So it's a big thing. But if you don't put a brand name on this and people ask, what light is that? How can I find it on Amazon? And there's no brand name on here. How are people going to be able to basically sell your product for you if there's not even a name to the product that is being sold, right? So for the people who ask me about selling on Amazon and they wonder why I say don't sell just a generic product, because if you don't have a brand name, you have nothing. You're not building an asset, you're just selling a product. And at a certain point, selling a product can only get you so far. Yes, you can potentially make money selling generic products, but are you going to have anything to show for it at the end of the day? No, you're not. So very important to come up with a brand name that is memorable, something that is short, something that is easy to remember, so that your customers can essentially sell your product for you to other people if they enjoy the product and if the quality is something that makes them happy. Finally, my bonus tip for always branding your products whenever you are selling on Amazon FBA is the fact that you are building an asset. So I just touched on this slightly, but when you're selling on Amazon and you're building up this brand, the brand is something that is tangible. A brand is something that can be sold. So not only are you making money selling your products in the current day and in the moment, but you are building up this brand that you will later on be able to sell if you ever decide to exit your business, which most people will do at some point, right? You're probably not going to sell on Amazon until the end of time. So when you are ready to walk away from the business, or you're ready to retire, or whatever comes up in your life that causes you to want to step away from Amazon selling, you will have a brand. And if your brand is bringing in consistent revenue, if you have a brand that has been established, you're going to be able to sell that for 6 figures, 7 figures, or even more if you do a good job with your branding. It all comes down to that. So if you're selling a bunch of random products under an Amazon store, that is not a brand. You're just selling random things. It's like a dollar store. It has a little bit of everything compared to selling something like a Best Buy where it's targeted. They're selling electronics. It's a certain type of product that they're selling, so that creates a stronger brand. So I hope that makes sense, and that gives you a little bit more incentive to always brand your products whenever you are selling on Amazon FBA. Trust me, you guys, I've been doing this for a very long time, and branding is what has gotten me as far as I have gotten to this day, as far as over $4 million in products sold on Amazon. All comes down to my brands. I would love to know in the comments if this video has convinced you to brand your products, or if you're still going to go generic when it comes to selling on Amazon FBA. These are all very, very solid reasons why you should always put some thought into the brand that you're trying to create and the impression that you're trying to leave onto your customers. If you like the video, again, I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel and coming back around for more videos. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video.